Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. I'm working on an art journal page, so get comfy and let's get crafty. This is the challenge card for the Mission Inspiration Facebook group January 2025 Art Journal Challenge. Mission Inspiration was created and is run by Mike Deacon over at Mike Deacon Art on YouTube. And this year we have a title of New Beginnings, with a theme of fresh starts, resolutions, winter stillness, and white space. The ideas are snowy landscapes, clean slates, goals, and self-reflection. And then the list of ingredients are dog, magazine topography or typography, stitching and sewing, blue, and triangles. So yeah, I have a piece of mixed media paper. This is Canson XL mixed media paper. It's cut to about 5.5 by 8. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a layer of clear gesso over this paper, just because, true story, I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. I have an idea. I don't have a full-fledged plan, but a layer of clear gesso is always a great place to start. Well, words are hard. So I'm going to use this big, like 1-inch brush, put a layer of clear gesso all over the page. I'm going to go ahead and heat set that. That's on super fast speed, obviously, and clean up my desk and then move on. So in my stash, I have a whole bunch of pieces of paper that I used for gel printing. And I found 3 pieces to use. This one is kind of a white and cream, and it's got some iridescent and shine to it. And I'm tearing this up to kind of make a landscape kind of background. Is it technically or artistically correct? Absolutely not. Does it get the message across? I think it does. So I'm going to add these pieces of torn up gel print page to my art journal page with some Liquitex liquid matte medium. So this is a medium, means no or a matte rather, means no shine, and liquid just means that it's liquid as opposed to a paste. You can buy this on Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, just about any store that sells art supplies will have this product. I do have my blog up and running again, and I linked this particular product and some of the other products I used on this page over on my blog. So if you want to check out those links, they're not affiliate links. I don't get any money from them. They're just things I bought. So if you want to use what I used, go ahead, check those out. Maybe one day I'll think about affiliate links, but that's just another step I would have to go through. Let's be honest. That's just another step. So I am adding the pages back in, and I think that you can kind of sort of see the there's a little bit of sparkle to this. I think I had used acrylic paint that had a little bit of mica in it. So you can see a little bit of that shine. But once I get the adhesive on, it kind of takes it back. So no biggie. I have another plan to add some shine in later. Once I have all of these layers stuck down with that liquid medium, I'm going to go ahead and heat set that. Again, super fast speed. For the record, most of this video is sped up. Like the slowest it's going is 2 times normal speed, just so you know. To add some definition to my hills, I've pulled out a light blue watercolor pencil. This is I think it's George brand, Walmart, again, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, and all of the online stores probably have watercolor pencils as well. This is just the one I bought when I was first dabbling in watercolor penciling. And I will go ahead and put that pigment down on the edges of my torn pieces of paper. And then, I can't think of the right word. Make the pigment work. I can't activate. There we go. Woohoo! Wow, words are hard. Activate the pigment with a damp paintbrush. Wow, it has been a minute since I sat down to do videos, and I've lost my brain entirely. So the dog image. I had one dog in my stash, so I pulled this one out. And then to add that also nod to winter, I die cut a whole bunch of trees from the Honeybee Stamps Lovely Layers tree set. I used this other half of this white kind of shimmery cards gel print page and a green gel print page to cut out those trees. And then I ended up using one. So now we have to talk about the blue and the triangles. Okay, I have this blue gel print. This was a cleanup sheet from when I was gel printing. forever ago. Like, I don't even know how long this has been in my stash. I do know that this design looks like a design I was using when I made some personalized wrapping paper out of tissue paper when my 23-year-old daughter was still in high school. So yeah, I cut that blue into squares, and then I cut those squares into triangles. So now we have blue triangles to add to our page. I don't know why this particular element was not the most stumping. The stitching and sewing, that was the biggest stump. But this seemed to mentally was like a hang up for me that I think actually turned out probably the best in the page. I don't know. I was just kind of hung up on that. So I'm going to use these. So I cut squares, and I cut the squares into triangles, or, in half diagonally that made triangles. And I cut those triangles into smaller triangles by cutting them in half. Anyway, I am going to use these blue triangles as kind of a cloud. Here's my air quotes you can't see. They're going to be in the sky. Again, air quotes you can't see. This is not realism in any way, shape, or form. This is just collage art journaling. I'm not even attempting to make sure that those triangles are right side up, or even straight. I have some of that liquid medium down on my page, and it's on my paintbrush, so I can pick up the triangles with the wet side, the sticky side of my paintbrush, most of the time. And I'm adding them off the page as well, and then I'll just trim those off after it's dry. Just, really because. Because in my mind, if it goes off the page, it looks like a more finished project in this type of collaging. So I did add one of the larger triangles down to the bottom as kind of a resting place for the dog. So this dog is a chipboard dog from Stamperia. I think it's one of Vicky Papanayu's collections, but I don't know the collection name because I dump all of them into one little zipper pouch. So yeah. Then I'm going to go ahead and adhere down my tree. This is 2 pieces of copy paper thick, so it is a little bit. It is not as thick as that doggy, though. That doggy is chipboard, and I tried to take off the top layer, but it tore, so I didn't. I am adhering the dog down with some Tombow glue because that is just a little bit more of an instant hold on and holds a little bit better for thicker objects, in my opinion. So I dried this off screen. I cleaned up my desk and put my paintbrush in some water, and I'm trimming off the triangles that are hanging off the page with my long Tim Holtz scissors. And this dog is shiny, and I don't want him to be shiny because nothing else on the page is shiny, but also I live in a rather humid climate, so shiny makes pages stick together. So my quote, this is where I added the magazine typography. So I typed out the quote, "New Year, same me, better choices." And then I used a website called randomizer.com, and it made it all look like different magazine fonts, kind of like a ransom note. And I'm using, again, that liquid medium and my paintbrush to just pick up and adhere these quote blocks. I did cut them all out, which I did not make you watch. That took me like 5 ever. It took me probably 7 or 8 minutes to cut out all those little squares because I was being a little bit precious with it because some of them were tiny and I didn't want them to get ruined. When I got to the last word, I started on the right and moved toward the left just to make sure I had room, and it did end up going over the tree. Now, the most stumbling part of this recipe or these ingredients were the sewing and stitching. I will 100% admit up front that this is only on here because it was an ingredient. And I get that, this is just a jumping point, and if I didn't want to add it, I didn't have to add it. But I wanted to be true to the prompt. So I punched a couple holes with my pokey tool, and 6.5 years later, I finally got the thread through the needle, and I started stitching. And at first, I was just going to do some lines, and then I decided I punched the holes with my pokey tool, like three holes in a straight line, or straight-ish line. And then I decided, I'm going to make these triangles as well because I'm using blue twine, so why not? So I did stitch 2 little triangles onto my art journal page. And 100% again, this is just because it's on the list. This is not something I probably would ever have thought to do because it took me 6.5 years to get the thread through the needle. It's a regular twine that I put. It's not a embroidery floss. It's just a twine that I peeled apart the layers of and then had to get an upholstery needle to get an eye big enough. Yeah, it's on here because it's on here. So once I got to the second triangle, there was not enough thread left to really do a knot, so I just taped it down. And then I thought, why not? I put some Scotch tape on the back or the other side of the triangle as well. I did decide after my stitching, I had to find a way to kind of cover that up. I didn't like it showing in the back, which I don't know. That's my brain. So I trimmed this page down, and I didn't measure. I just trimmed off like a 1/4-ish inch off each side. And now I'm going to use some really strong double-sided adhesive to put my page down on top of this piece of blue cardstock. And maybe that's something I will do with all of my art journal pages for Mission Inspiration this year, is add a cardstock border to the back. Sounds like a plan, right? I am going to go ahead and remove the backing tape off of all of my adhesive, and then I will center-ish, because I didn't take the same measurements off the top and bottom as I did the side. And so there's a little bit bigger border on one side, but whatever. So double checking that I've got all of my ingredients and that my art journal page mostly matches the theme and the idea of the page, I'm going to go ahead and add my prompt card to the back of my art journal page. And then I will pull out my paper punch and add holes to my art journal page so I can stick it into my binder. I'm going to go ahead and sign and date that. I just dated it January because I made it in January. Now for some shiny. I pulled out this Lawn Fawn glitter paste, and I'm just adding a little bit of it to the tree, and then I dropped a blob on the page as well. So there's a little bit extra shiny on the page as well. And that's it. That is the entirety of my art journal page for Mission Inspiration's January prompt. It was fun. Outside my comfort zone, but totally fun. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I have a couple other videos here I think you would like. I also have that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I love it. Leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and have a really fabulous day.